So here is the first video of the course. It's not about creating the character, but it's just about the character. So the character that we are creating is the Baymax from the animated movie Big Hero 6, which is now also available on Netflix. If you want to watch that, you can do that, and also available on the Disney Plus and a lot more. If you just search it, you can watch it. So it's a Disney animated movie, and originally this character is from the Disney. So it's all rights of this character are to Disney. I'm just creating this for learning purpose, so we guys can learn it, and it's one of my inspiration. So yep, that's all for this one. And the next thing that I want to tell is about Blender. So we are creating this in Blender software, so make sure you have the very basics, so you can just, it's a bit easy for you to follow. Otherwise you can also follow it if you're just really too beginner, but it's better if you have some basic knowledge. For the Blender complete course, I have a Blender from 0 to Pro course, where I teach all the Blender tools and proper exercises for that. So if you want to learn and master the Blender software, you can check that. But this one is about creating this character, and I hope so you will learn a lot of stuffs in this one. So thank you, and continue to the course. Welcome. So this is the first lecture where we will be set up some shortkeys and optimizing the layout. So let's get started. So first of all, come up here to the edit and go to the preference. So we have to enable some add-ons. So the first one is the F2, and I will tell you in detail about later that what it will do, but let's just enable these options from here. Okay, the next one is the pie. So we need the pie menu, and make sure to turn off all the details except for the X and for the Z. So it will create a pie menu where we can work a bit fast and it's more optimized. Okay, and after that we would need the loop tool. So we will also check this later in detail, but just enable that. Okay, come up here to the input and turn on the emulate numpad, where the normal number keys will work the same like numpad. So this can also work. Now come up here to the navigation. Okay, so we don't need to change anything here, but in the key map, yes, tab for the pie menu, so turn on this one. And in the system, if you have a graphics card, make sure to come to the CUDA and enable these tools. If not, you will be working on the none. Okay, the undo history, we would need it to the maximum, which is 256. So we would need this one, and yep, the rest of it is fine. So let's just save this one, and now we can start. Okay, so the first step is to select everything with A. You can see all the shortkeys here that I press. So let's delete that. Now we have to drag our reference. So okay, so browse where they are and come up to the, okay, so first select the Blender and come up to the front view. So everything, any image that we would drag would come up straight like this. So it's a bit easy to do that. Okay, so let's make this selected, and G and Y to just grab it to something like here, cause here we are going to create our character. And now come up to the side view by 3, and now come up here and drag the side reference, and let's push this back to the X. But as you see, the reference that we have here are like different in the scale, so we can't use it now. So to match everything, we have a specific method for it. It's not like official method, but this is what I use it all the time to make sure that my references are equal to each other and it's workable. So shift A and add a cube, and now go to the front view. And okay, so first we have to align the feeds with the X direction, this line. So this is important for this one. What we have to do is add a loop cut. Go to the edit mode in the cube, Control R to add a loop cut, and right click to make it to the default position. And now what we have to do is to just match this reference with this one, something like this. Okay, because this is the floor stage if we add a loop in the middle. Okay, so now Control R and add a loop like this, and now we have to match this with this. Okay, so what you can do is that you can also make the cube puppet here and scale this with Z, something like this, and try to just match it with this one. And as you can see, it seems like it's in center. Okay, now from the side we go to the edit mode again, Control R and Control R and add a loop, right click to make it to the default, and from the side view let's just now try to match it. So we would scale it like this and scale it a bit more and try to just do it something like this. Now what we have to do is to S, Y and -1, so to flip this one, so it's a formula for flipping the object. Okay, and now what we have to do is to make it in center like this. Okay, so that's all to do it for this lecture. So we learn so we enable this option, we set up all for working, and now we drag our reference and we match up the reference. So in the next one we will be starting the base mesh of this. So see you in that. Thank you and bye. Welcome back. So in this lecture we will be creating the base mesh of the Baymax character from the animated movie Big Hero 6. So let's get started. Okay, so first of all, here's the questions go that from which object should we start. So we can start from any object. It could be plane or a cube or a sphere or cylinder for some people, but it depends on the character for me, and also depend on the artist, because everyone workflow is different and everyone work in their own way. But I personally do most of the time is the cylinder if you see my other videos. But for this one, as you can see, it's a bit different. It's not really humanoid character, like it don't have the muscular body or that kind of stuff or the facial head. So it's a bit different, and we can create it from different objects, like this could be a sphere or this could be a cylinder, this kind of stuff. But the new thing that I found here is that it could be created from a round cube. So now what is a round cube and how we can create that? So let's start from this one. Okay, so basically we just have to create a cube. Okay, and make sure the cursor is here to the center. So if not, then Shift S and make the cursor to the center. And okay, if you're lagging in all the beginners things, like how to do this kind of stuff, so you can check my Blender from 0 to Pro course, where I teach all the steps for really beginners, like how to install Blender and how to like the first overview and all the stuff. So you can check that in details for mastering your Blender. But in this one, it's just focusing on the character, so make sure you have some basic information for that. Okay, so Shift A and add in a cube, and now come up here to the modifiers and add a subdivision modifier with the level of 2. So this is a round cube. What does it mean is that it's a simple cube but with having subdivision modifier, and that's why it's looking round. So that's the basic object that we needed, and now we can just start from here. Okay, so grab it here, select the down part, make it more down like this, and okay, just do it this one so we could see things better. Okay, I can scale this one a bit, grab it a bit more down, and yep, something like this. But I think we need a loop here, so we would add a loop here. And now select the top one, let's make it more down like this. And for this one, it seems a big. And also we can add one more here, and yep, we can optimize it more. So the reason for picking up this object is that, as you can see, it's it's a bit handy to work. Like, it's easy for me to just create this shape, so that's why we choose this one. And yep, something like this. Okay, now from the side view we have to also match it, so I would select these tools, grab it like this. Okay, for this one it should be a bit to the back, or we can just do it in the solid one like this, somewhere like this. Okay, I think now it's time to apply the subdivision, because it's low poly for now. It don't have a lot of blue, as you can see. Okay, a few things that I have here, it's the Q key, and let me just show you what I did here. So basically, come up to any of the tool that you want to pick it quick, and right click on that, and then make it to add to quick favorite. As you can see, add to quick favorite. And now if I press Q, I can see that option. So it's this time it's the wireframe, so I just enable it like this, and it's really helpful for me. Okay, but I do a lot of stuffs like face orientation and navigation, but I can remove that for now because I don't need it. But yes, these tools I use it a lot. Okay, so now let's apply this modifier, and as you can see, if I go, it's subdivided. Let's Control A and apply scale and rotation. And now let's just try to match it a bit more. Make sure to turn on the symmetry. And now let's just, with the proportional editing, I can just set up it like this. Okay, so as you can see from the side view here, it's a bit like this. Okay, here it should be here. Okay, something like this. Yep. And to match it exact, we can just do this here and here. Yeah. Okay, from this one let's just make it a bit more. And yep, I think that's it for the base body. Okay, now it's time for the legs. So again, I would use a round cube. So with the subdivision of 2, right click, make it shade smooth, scale it down, grab it here, scale this with Z. Okay, but it's, as you can see, it's a bit different, so we would need to apply the subdivision and to do it manually. But we can add some loops here, and we can also adjust this by adding loops. Okay, one loop here. Okay, something like this. I can rotate this bit and I can see things better now. So something like this. And yep, it's somehow matching. Okay, now we have to mirror this one. So I also add the mirror to the quick favorite because I mirror a lot. So now Q and mirror, and now pick up the central object to just mirror it like this. And make sure to don't clip it because we don't need to make it stick to each other. We can add a gap here a bit if you like, or we can just leave it like stitched. It don't really matter, but I think this is looking a bit better. So yeah. Okay, make sure the feet are also good from the sides. So something like this. Okay, from the top I think I would like to delete the faces to just make it straight. And yep, yeah, seems fine. So let's continue. Okay, another round cube and grab this one. This time it's for the head. Okay, and scale it with the X and just try to match it and right click and make it shade smooth. Okay, so as you can see it's the base mesh, so we don't need to work more here. Okay, and this time let's start for the arms. So again a round cube, okay, now scale it with right click, shade smooth from the sides. It's a bit hard to see this from the sides, but we can just work. Okay, one loop here. Let's make this one up. Okay, and okay, let's make this here. And let's add a loop here. Grab this here. Okay, I think this time we can. Okay, before this thing, let's just squeeze it from here, squeeze it from here, rotate that like here, and grab this here, select this one, grab it here, something like this. Okay, now apply the subdivision, and from the side view we can now match it more. So just select this one and make sure you have a big circle of proportional editing. Try to drag this one here. Yeah, and just follow the shape. It's easy, super easy character. Okay, we would need it a bit squeezed from this side. I think it's a bit wide and hard to find, but it don't have to be 100% accurate. Yep. Okay, and now let's just mirror this again and with this one, so we have a motivation that's it's going to be completed soon. And okay, the last thing in this lecture will be the fingers. So okay, again we need the same thing, a round cube. And just apply this one because we need to modify the shape. So just select this one and scale it with the proportional editing. Okay, we need to squeeze it a bit more, rotate that. Okay, squeeze this. Okay, the first one, and also from this side let's just make it like this and rotate that and place it somewhere to be here. Okay, also I think the arms need to be a bit modified from this side. Yep, something like this. Okay, now it's just duplicating that, so Shift D and now make it a bit wider. shifty again, something like this, and one more which could be here. So yep, just try to make a hand shape. Okay, seems fine. Now it need to mirror, so we won't do it one by one, so just select all and now select any of the object that have the mirror modifier. In case this is this one, and now Control L and make this one copy modifier. So we copy all the modifiers from this object to this one, which was the mirror modifier, so it's mirror exact. And now we can just modify as we like it. Okay, the last thing that we are going to have is that fixing this one. So I would like to add a loop here, and now apply this one. Now squeeze this with like this, rotate that, and now S, Z and then Z to just scale it in that direction and just match it like this. S, Y, Y, and yep. Now to match it more perfect, we can just do it manually, but make sure to have a symmetry turned on. Okay, so there could be a bit slight difference in the both sides, but it's totally fine. Okay, now the last thing is select all and right click and smooth vertex, and we can increase this so we have a smoother workflow. Okay, so that's it for the base, and in the next one we will be adding details to it and making it high poly character with having such as these details, this page and the eyes, and completing it. So thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one. Okay, so welcome to the part 3 where we will be adding details to it. So let's get started. Okay, so first of all it needs the eyes and this line. So for that, come up here to the edit mode, select the half of it and delete that, and now Q and mirror that, or add a mirror modifier mainly. So after that, turn on the clipping so it don't split in the middle. And now it's time for choosing the faces in which we will creating the eye. So for example, we have this one. Let's just delete this one with the deleted faces, and now select this whole. And as we turn on an add-on that was loop tool, so now we get this option by right click and loop tool. So just make this one a circle and make the influence a bit low. And now one thing we need to do is to rotate that a bit, just to like make the loop straight. And now I okay, now E to extrude that, and S to scale, and something like the scale of the eye. And now to make this line, we have to Control B to bevel that. Something like this would be fine. Now delete these faces And what we can do now is select this one and this one, Alt Shift and left clicked. I'm selecting the whole loop, and now what we can do is we can extrude this toward the Y direction, and now go to the wireframe with Z and wireframe, and now control and left click drag to deselect that, and now F to fill this, and after that select this one, and as we turn on the F2 add-on, now we have to just F and F and it will fill this automatically. Okay, this seems good. Now what we have to do is we have to add a subdivision modifier to make it clear like this, and add a loop here. Control R and drag this here, one loop more here, and we have to, as you can see, this place is smooth, but in reference it's a sharp edge here, so we have to select these two and these two, and we have to make it sharp so the subdivision don't affect. So for that, press N and come up here to the mean crease, and we do it somehow like this. Also we can select this one and grab it a bit to the X direction, yeah, something like this. And yes, that's it for the head. Okay, now it's time for the feet. So we have to add this detail. For that, let's first apply the subdivision modifier, Control A, and make it rotation and scale. And now let's select one of the edge from this one and just slide a bit, rotate it like this, because we want the same workflow a bit right this, and yep, it's ready. Okay, so now select this loop, as we will considering be the shape like this, and what we have to do is to split the edge with the split edge modifier, but before that, Control E and make it mark sharp. So now we mark sharp and we can detect this with this modifier. So come up here and add an edge split modifier, and now just turn off this one. We only need the sharp edges to be splitted, and let's make this modifier to the top. And as you can see, nothing crazy happens, but we have to apply a subdivision solidify modifier and make this one only rim, and one subdivision surface modifier, and let's make this one 2. Okay, and now as you can see, make sure you have the only rim option, and now we can change this. Okay, it's a bit too much, so let's make it 1. Don't go above the 1 cause it's work perfect with 1. And now as you can see, this one is curved, so we have to make this curved. So go to the sculpt mode or tab and go to the sculpt, and now press G. Make sure you have increased the brush size with the bracket key, and just drag it like this. And as you can see, it's working perfect. Okay, the same thing for this one. Now we have to just select the edge that we want it. So for example, here it's this one, from here and then to here, and then Control R, mark sharp, and as you can see, the design is ready. Just need to adjust it with the gray brush. Okay, make sure to do this one carefully to just like make this a smooth curve shape, something like this. Yep, it's ready and I like it. Okay, the next one is on the body. So just question mark key or slash key to just solo that, and what we have to do is to select this circle. Okay, this one, this one, this one, and this one. Okay, Control R, mark sharp, and we already know what to do. So okay, just apply these modifiers. Okay, I solo it again, and let's apply an edge split. Turn off this one. A subdivision, make sure it's to the down, and then a solidify, make sure it's to the this one, and make sure only rim. And yes, there we go. Okay, now again do the same for this one. So yep, something like this, something like this, and something like this. Yep, there we go. And now the same thing will work for the arms. As you can see, there is the same pattern on the arms. So select it, and now from the side view, let's just decide which edges will work this time. So it's this, and okay, so it will come up to like here. So we'll just select this much, and now this one, Control E, mark sharp, and now again the same stuffs in edge split modifier with the top, a subdivision with the second, a solidify, make it here, only rim, and yep. Okay, now again we have to create this design. So okay, just like this. Okay, now drag this here, make this one here. So it's totally up to you that how much you can make it smooth. So just try your maximum. And there we have. Okay, cool. So that was all for detailing. Hopes you like it. In the next lecture we will be shading the whole thing, which is super easy because we don't have a lot of work. So yep, let's just start it. Welcome back. So we are starting from the same place that we leave, and it's time for adding materials. So come up here to the shading. So we would just need two materials, one for the eyes and one for the rest of the body, actually three, and one for this one. So let's first come up here and create a material which we already have the first material, so just load that, and we would call it eyes. So specifically it have a black material with some shine, so we would leave the shine something like this. And now we have to add another material with the name of body, and this would be white with a shine, and I would like to have some of the metallic properties for this one. And let's select this one. And okay, now what we have to do is to select the inside faces. Okay, and now control plus, and now control I to get inverse of it, and now select the body material and then assign. And as you see, if I just go again, so yep, this is working. It's a bit too shiny, I think, so let's just make it somewhere around this one, and make sure it's not 100% white. Okay, so we can even make it a bit to the yellowish if we like, or the default one will be fine, but don't make it like 100% white because that not really look good. Okay, so we need the same material on all the objects. So I would like to select all the objects and then this one, and then control L and copy materials. Okay, but there is one problem, that it have two materials, so that are copying all the two materials. But okay, so let's select the body and add the body one, and now select all of that, and as you can see the body one is active, so Control L and make this one Control Z, make this one Control link materials. So now any of the object that we selected have the same material with the name of body, and that's what we wanted. Okay, let's just adjust some setting. Yep, this looks fine. Okay, the black material I would like to have is that, yep, it seems, I think it seems fine. Yep, it's fine. Okay, the next one is the final, this gray material. So what we have to do is to select this one with L, but as we can see it will not select like that. So we have to do selection. So just draw a selection like this, and now deselect it from this side and select it from this side. Okay, and now come up here and add a new material which we will call a design. Let's call it design. You can give any of name, it doesn't matter, and let's try a gray color because I think that will looks more good. So let's just try a gray color, and let's make it a bit white. Okay, and I would like to make this a bit more like this. Okay, we are missing the one face, so just select that and again add the design, and yep. Okay, same goes for this one. So we have to just do the selection, add new material, but don't make it new, just add the design one and assign that. And now select this one from this to here. So I'm just Control Shift and left clicking and add new material and make this one to the design and assign that. And yep, I think, yep, that's it. So okay, so that's it for the shading sector, and in the next one we will be rendering it out. So see you in that. Thank you and bye. Welcome. So it's the lecture 5 where we will be rendering our character. So let's get started. Okay, so first of all, before rendering I want to add a stage for it to just make it looks more good. So Shift A and add any circle and scale that, and now F to fill and E to extrude that with the Z direction. And now what we have to do is to add a subdivision modifier, and let's make it 2. And it looks weird for now, but just go to the edit mode, Control R, and add 2 loops and scale that with the Z. And now right click and make it shade smooth. Now Shift D and S and Shift Z to just scale it like this, and just grab it a bit down. And there we have, just make it a bit small, I think. Something like this. And now let's start adding materials. So for the first one, let's just add a material, stage 1, and let's try any color that we want. I would like to try red, and let's make this full metallic. And now for the second one, let's make it stage 2, and let's make it black, so full metallic with the less of this. But as you can see, we see this kind of stuff, so just go to the edit mode, select this one and E to just intersect, E again, and there we have it's now looks good. Okay, now it's time for the lighting and rendering. So first of all, let's make this a black color, the background. Come up here and let's make sure you have the GPU selected for better performance if you have a better GPU. And after that, first of all, let's check here. So we are in the cycle, make sure it's cycle. If it's AV, so change it to cycle, and it looks something like this. So let's just hide this one, and as you can see, it's full black. So that's what we wanted at the first. Then Shift A and add a area light, and for this one, the first one, it will be a rim light. So just put it behind it. Make sure it's not too far, something like this. In the front view, just make it a bit here, and let's see in the render view. And as you can see, our goal is to create a rim light here. So for that, it should be here, and let's make this one up to 100, and the color of the character should be the color of the rim light can be blue. Most of it we use blue, but you can use any color you like. Okay, and now let's decide the camera angle. So Shift A and add a camera, put it somewhere around here. Control Shift, Control Alt and numpad 0 to snap it here, and come up here to the resolution and just make it something like this resolution. And now come up here to the camera and select on the camera, and let's make it somewhere like this. Okay, and let's just see it one time, and yes, I think this looks fine. Okay, for the new light, let's just Shift A and add another area light. In the front one, just make it here, scale it a bit from the top, move it to the X and rotate that with Z. So this will be our spotlight. So the purpose of this will be to create a spot on the model. So it should be somewhere around 60 power, and look something like this, which seems fine. Okay, the final light, that will be a point light, which will be a fill light. So let's make the radius big and make this one to about 30, and let's see in the camera, 30 seems a bit more, so let's make it 20. Yep, this seems fine somehow. If you see this color black and it's annoying to you, so you can just Shift D and make a light here. Make sure it's with the lowest intensity like this, so it's just for the filling. So these two are filling lights, this is the spotlight and this is the rim light, and it's creating a result like this. Okay, now it's time for a little animation. So Shift A and make this one to the add in this empty, and now select all of the stuff, the character only, and as you can see, our area empty object is selected actively, and it's the yellow color. And now Control P and make this with keep transform. So now if we select this one and move it, as you can see, our whole stage and character is being moving. And if we just rotate that, so as you can see, we can rotate it like this. Okay, so now it's depending on us how much second animation do we need it. For me, it should be 3 seconds, and 1 second is like 30 frames, so it should be 90, but let's make it 100. So the end animation will be 100, and let's make the first one to be around. Okay, so I to add a rotation keyframe, and let's make this 100 and rotate this one with 360 degree, and now I, and then again rotation. And now if we see the animation, just play it. As you can see, it's working, but the only problem is that it's when it rotate fully, the speeds is not constant. As you can see, it's slow here in the start in this one, and it's speedy in the middle. So to fix this thing, come up here to the animation and make this one to a crop editor, and let's select all with A, and now V, and make this one vector. And now if we come up here, as you can see, it's now a what we call it, a continue animation, I think. Yep. So now we are ready to render it. For the render setting, just come up here and add a location that we want. So for example, it's the desktop. Let's make this BMX animation, and let's make this one a FF video, so the output will be video. Let's make this a 30 frame animation and play it again if it's still okay. Yep, still it's okay. And okay, let's make this one in 4. Okay, this is important, it should be divided on 2. And now come up here and make this one an animation render. But before that, I would like to have a test animation, so you make sure everything's fine. For that, just make this one to about 10, it's 10% resolution, and make sure to make this one to 256. This would be fine for now, and just render animation. Okay, so we are done with the test animation, and let's just check that. So as you can see, things seems fine, and now we can do the final animation. So for the final animation, just make this one to about 512, and this one to about 100% resolution, or if you have a better PC, you can make this one 200. So render it again. Okay, so one frame is taking a bit about 13 seconds, so let's just calculate that. So it's 13 multiplied by 100, so it's this much seconds, and if we divided it into minutes, so it will be 21 minutes. So I think this is a pretty good time, and we'll wait that, and after that we will show the result. Okay, so it's done here, and let's just check this one. So first save it on the desktop, but it will not. Let's just see the default one where it's saved, and yes, it's the desktop, so it's actually overridden. So let's double click on that, and yes, there we have. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you learn a lot from this course, and see you somewhere in the new course. So thank you and bye.